So I'm live, but I'm guessing tonight's gonna be a much more quote unquote intimate live stream than my last one, my previous one, which had MP36, and I had him pretty early. Um, and I know a lot of people are interested in that. I don't know how much the interest is gonna be in these figures, but thank you for joining our little tea time. I set this up with some of the extras that we got with Aegis here. But if you guys that are joined have any questions, you can go ahead and get started. Send some comments out, and I'll try to answer those as soon as possible. But I guess while we're sitting here, I'll just straighten out Aegis so that a lot of people can see the height difference. I did put up the reviews of both of these guys earlier today, but I know a lot of folks don't have an hour or two to spare on Easter Sunday to watch one of my reviews. How final is the silver on the head on Paean? Hey Alan, how's it going? I have no idea. I've gotten that question a bunch of times, and honestly, I knew something was off when I looked at this guy, but I couldn't put my finger on it. And then afterwards, when I was doing the editing and saw the comparison next to the gray face as well as the gray head on this guy and on Lori, I realized, yeah, that's the thing that was off. So I've actually put out asks to X-Transbots as well as 539 Designs about whether swap the head from Lori. No, this is not a mushroom peg, so it doesn't look like you can. Oh well, Lori. Sorry, Alan. I don't have Lori, so I have no idea. But I've put out asks. We'll see if they're going to change stuff, but I think they're going to change a few things. Like I pointed out in the reviews, there are a couple things that just are kind of odd choices. I think some of the things that I pointed out were like the wheels on these guys. On the front wheel and back wheel are different. So I think there are going to be some changes that they're going to make before the final release. So we'll see about that. I'll ask them whether they can do that, but I haven't gotten a response from at least the designer yet or X-Transbots. So hopefully they will. Do you guys have any questions, or you guys want to see anything in particular? They do come with a bunch of stuff, like all these kinds of accessories. Here's the other face if you are interested in the... Here, let me scooch this up a bit so you guys can get a little closer detail on the toy face, which I think is okay. Do you feel the G1 toy is more accurate to the tune to either of these hoists? Either of those toys, I think this one, at least in alt mode, looks more accurate. It has more of the accurate like toe hitch kind of thing, this kind of triangular thing, than it is with, at least with Artifacts, Ocular Max's Artifacts. And in terms of overall toy look, I don't know. I've never been a big G1 toy guy, so I don't know a lot about it other than the fact that it has a different face and stuff like that. How easy are the hands to pop while others have broken? You mean the hands as far as popping them off the mushroom peg, or hands as in like the fingers? Because getting them off the mushroom pegs is fairly easy. See? That's pretty easy. But the fingers themselves, if you have had any of the, what's it called, X-Transbots or KFC hands, they're about the same. So you do have to be a little bit careful with those. And one thing I did notice is, because of the way the hands need to come off the mushroom pegs, that you just have to be careful, and this won't articulate to the side, which a lot of the other KFC hands have. So I don't know about the mushroom pegs. I really don't like that mechanism of mushroom pegs, just because a lot of people, like you said, M-Cart, do end up shearing those mushroom pegs off depending on how small they are. For the head, the same thing. This one is fairly tight, but you can get it off without too much issue. So I did it like that. So no big concerns there. And honestly, I think KFC and X-Transbots have done a pretty good job with the quality of their plastics as of late, so I haven't been really concerned about that. I will say that the paint has been rubbing off a bit on the silver on this guy. that might be something you want to be aware of. And if you have their what's it called? Their Apollyon, if you still have them after getting MP36, you'll have a really good idea of what the paint is like, because the silver paint almost is exactly the same. Would dismantling the head make it easier to remove? No, because the way it works is the mushroom peg itself, so that doesn't make it any easier to remove. I will say, and I mentioned it in the review I did for Aegis, that I think the head that they sent me for the toy head here that they sent me is misassembled because of the mushroom peg slot is on the front on this one. And once you get it on, it's really hard to get off. So I had to unscrew it and then remove the faceplate to get it off. I'm pretty sure it has to go the other way, but I didn't do it. I didn't switch it because it's a pin joint, and I actually have to send this over to Jack from Toy Dojo so that they can do their review on it as well. So these guys are going to go to Texas overnight or the next day so they can do another detailed review. And do you guys want to see anything in particular, like transformation or comparisons with any other figures? I guess while we're just chatting it up, I can bring out the only other figures that I have for comparison. I still need, does Hoist have a height changing leg gimmick, or is it no? This is his only height. They have, unlike with Artifacts, which has the collapsing and expanding legs, which is how they get different heights through that gimmick. These are actually completely different from the bottom halves are completely different. Even in the alt modes are significantly different on the back end with the different, wheel length, distance between the front and back wheels and everything like that. So they did a lot of heavy remolding, and talking to 539 about it, I was really surprised. I asked them why they invested so much into that, and he said, the design is just a design. That was the only way they could do it. Could you show all the Trailbreakers with MP10? Yes, I have a spare MP10, so I always have one readily available just to do comparisons. The other one I have on my shelf is custom painted, so I don't have a lot of room in here, but hopefully that gives you an idea. But yeah, that was my biggest complaint about this guy. He feels just too tall for me. I don't have really any other official MPs out right now. Do you guys want to see with like Ironhide or something like that? I can do that. Yeah. I mean, it's not terrible, but it's definitely a little off-putting for me, the height that he's at. Let me get Ironhide real quick. Give me a second, everyone. I'm trying to not destroy my display while I'm getting these guys out. So here he is with Ironhide. Oh, Greg, that's only for you. Seeker. All you people like the Seekers. Do you prefer the silver or white on the MMC one? It's hard to say. I think I mentioned that I think I like the silver because I think that's what it was intended. The color is intended to be in the cartoon, but the white looks okay too. But the silver here, I think definitely it does look a bit off-putting. Alan, give me a second. I'm trying to get. I don't have easy access to a Seeker, but here's a Conehead. So that'll give you an idea. Here, let me move him out of the way. Get him out of the way. So a Conehead will give you basically the same idea as a Seeker. And I'm sorry, the quality on the stream is not that great. I think they max out at 720p, which is kind of a bummer, but I can't really do much about it. I always try, and I don't think they allow you to do 60 frames per second on the streaming, so it's a little blurry and a little slow. Sorry about that. Hey T-Man, how's it going? I was in Maryland this weekend. That's where I'm from, so was hanging out in Southern Maryland. Do you have an MP Grapple? Those two look real. Okay, one MP Grapple. I do have one. That's going to take a second for me to get. He's in the back of one of my DTOL shelves, so bear with me. I'm trying not to knock down all of my figures. So next to, I'm guessing you guys want him next to these guys. There we go. Is that good? Hoist. What about hoist? Oh, next to hoist. Yeah. Since my seekers in my C1 season 1, but don't touch it works. Okay. Yeah. I mean, I think it really depends. So I think it really depends. I also think that these guys might be a little too tall, but who knows? I mean, scale is only what you make of it, and it's not that big of a deal. I talk about it a lot, but really, who really cares? As long as the toys are enjoyable and so forth. I'm still a little upset with this guy. The QC on mine was pretty bad. I have a lot of crappy paint and tolerances, like his shoulder. Look at that. That's locked in. I'm going to try to turn his bicep. Yeah, that's no good. All right. Since nobody's really asking, Sumbo's chart is the devil. So since nobody's asking about anything, I can do maybe some partial transformations or something like that. The thing I think was really good about this one, the lower body, is that it's really cleverly done. It's kind of a pain to get these shins open, but I think that's just tolerances. But all this stuff is completely different in how they accomplish it. And I think it's even the feet. I thought they both had like the same articulation in the feet, but they're not at all. Can we get some history on Henry? History on me. Can you do a speed run on the transfer? Can you do a speed? Okay, let me do a quick one on this. History of Henry? What? I grew up in a small town in Southern Maryland. Family of Koreans. Yeah. Let's do the articulation real quick first before we go into transformation. Really good articulation actually on both these guys, depending on what you're looking for. So he has a lot of upper articulation there at the hips, and he gets better than 90 degrees at the knee, and then at the ankle. Speed run a Korean. What would you have done? Right now I do a boring job doing management consulting, not very interesting. So this guy does have forward and back tilt here, as well as toe tilt, as well as some stuff on the back. But on here, he doesn't actually have any forward or backward movement at the ankle. Paek is my last name. It's a Korean last name. So he doesn't have as much foot ankle articulation, but he does have just about the same there and going out and going back if you move this butt flap. But then where he shines is his knee articulation. So he has ratcheted knees, die cast knees here. Then he also has one at the top of the bottom of the knee there. And then he even has a tiny bit at the bottom of the silver. So he can get in really, really deep. That sounded pretty perverted, just realizing that. But yeah, he gets a lot of articulation there. Trailbreaker's foot loose. Yeah, so I don't know if this character just has really bad ankle joints, but somebody also messaged me on Terra Aegis, and their ankle is weak on theirs. This one is actually not that bad because you can open this up and you have access to that little screw way back in there, and you can tighten it up really easily. I actually just did it when I first got him. Somebody mentioned the shoulder articulation. Yeah, the shoulder articulation on this guy kind of sucks in the sense that because of these side view mirrors, they run into the backpack a lot. So, and even without it, this shoulder piece kind of, see, I just turned it and it unlocked the backpack, which is tabbed in. So it's not terrible in the sense that you can get it done, but it's not elegant in the sense that they could have designed it a little bit better. Up here is not that bad. See, going out laterally is fine. It's just when you start going forward and back. Again, you can get by untabbing the backpack, but yeah, that's kind of cheating. Otherwise, it's pretty good. So where were we? Yeah, transformation-wise, I like the legs on this a lot. I hope they do fix up the paint a little bit more on here, since this is kind of a glossy bright orange compared to the kind of dull gray that they have. But again, it's a test shot, so they're trying to nail that in. These are prototype Buttzilla, and so the difficulty here is, or the interesting part here, is that these work in a very odd way. Not odd and bad as in bad, but odd as in just different. So you just have to slide this down, but it can get a little difficult. But once you do that, this will come back like, which way am I doing this? Yeah, back like this. This ankle will rock up like this, and then this closes back down, and this C-clip goes around this knee joint, and then this square peg, I think, locks up in here as well. So it kind of goes like this. So it's really interesting how they did that. I've always been impressed with 539 Designs, their engineering. They do a lot of very different engineering tricks that I'm starting to see more with other designers as well and other companies. But they often do kind of the first iteration of interesting transformations. And I think he still does the best kind of accuracy, quote unquote accuracy, between the toy and the tune versions. Is that right? Feels like something's wrong here. Oh. But yeah, this ends up being all hidden in the backpack. Let's just kind of explode this. Who's your favorite character from Star Wars? I don't know why. I've always been a really big Obi-Wan fan. And I don't know why. I have no real reasoning for that. Did I do something wrong here? Oh, sorry. I have to rotate the wheels down. I've always been a big Obi-Wan fan. I think maybe, honestly, it's probably because I like blue, and he had the blue lightsaber. That's probably it. It's probably the extent of my reasoning for liking Obi-Wan, which is probably pretty sad. Speedrun fist. Alan, I'm trying to answer questions and do this at the same time. Give me a bit of a break. Jar Jar Binks. Yeah, did it... I read a story recently that he had a super sad death, like a canon death, where he just basically had a not non-interesting death, which kind of speaks to volumes about his character. So this is the difficulty with Hoist. You can see this one's all marred up. I actually got his face all marred up like that from X-Transbots, but you can see this clearance is no good here. Yeah, it's challenging. And then you can see that they made a couple marks here on these edges to make it a little bit easier to get through. So I think they're going to make some adjustments there. Oh, somebody was asking me about the fingers. I just popped one of the fingers off the thumb. I didn't even know I was touching that. But let's just move that off to the side for now. But yeah, the clearance on the head for Hoist is way worse than Trailbreaker or their Aegis. See, I'm having difficulty just getting it through right now. Come on. Yeah, people are going to think this is a lot worse than it is, but it's actually not that bad. Is that frame plastic or die cast? It's this part. Everything here is plastic. The only die cast they really has is from the feet and the knees, I think, on this guy, if I'm not mistaken. All right. I did this kind of out of order, which is why it's kind of screwing this up as well. Alan's going to say I'm making excuses, which I am. I totally am. But it is also kind of true. So closing this up, flip this around like this, collapse that, collapse that. But yeah, now I got the difficult parts done. From here, you just kind of move this around like this. Pop these shoulders out so that they're 90 degrees. This way. So that they're 90 degrees. And then you're going to fold these in while simultaneously pushing these up. How's the heft compared to Bag Cube? I don't think that. No, I've only messed with Bag Cube a couple of times, and I remember them being like really really heavy. So I can't imagine these being heavier. I can actually do. Give me a second. I can actually do a scale really quickly since I have one. Let us zero out really quick. this deformed hoist. Looks like almost 10 ounces, 9.6 ounces on their hoist, and wow, almost 12 ounces, 11.7 ounces on their Aegis. I gotta imagine the Trailbreaker, the Bag Cubes one are much bigger. Coke scale. What is this? I don't drink Coke. So how do you like the striping on the tune versus the sides? I don't remember hoist from the cartoon. I actually like the like kind of the caution stripes a lot. I wish that the sample here had some as well, but they don't for Trailbreaker. But yeah, I can't imagine, because I distinctly remember holding Bag Cube's hoist, their lorry, and he was like the majority of him was die cast. It was really impressive there. But yeah, I had no interest in collecting that figure just because the transformation looked abysmal, and it looked really messy too, along the back and stuff like that. But maybe that's just me, and I don't mind difficult transformations. You guys probably have seen my Bad Cube War Dog transformation. That was a really difficult one, and I actually got a compliment from Bad Cube saying that I had done the best video showing the transformation there on that figure, which I always take as a compliment. That's usually the only kind of compliments I get for my videos, people saying that it helped me with transformation, but it was long as hell. Do you own a hoist Trailbreaker? Or I had the Ocular Max ones, because I think I've explained it before. I mean, the deal I have with them, or at least they offered to me, and it wasn't really something that I even negotiated with them. They just said that they'd send me their stuff to do the official manuals for, and I get to keep the figures. So I get to get those figures essentially quote unquote for free, or for minimal work. Minimal being I have to do a instruction manual and review for them. Well, instruction manual, I don't have to do a review for them, but I do that for Toy Dojo. Why is this cage not falling down? This should be pretty much done, but I remember these have to be vertical. But I'm trying to remember if I forgot anything. Maybe not. Okay, I think I got it. Sorry if I'm missing some comments. I'm trying to get this transformed at least somewhat fast, so Alan doesn't give me a hard time next time I see him at our local meetup. Oh, there we go. Just needed some gumption. I don't know what that means. There we go. Oh, son of a bitch. Oh, sorry. This should be kid friendly. The only missing part that I know I have right now is the thumb that I popped off when I was showing off something else. But everything else is done now. Except his little thumb here. I'll put that back on later. To give you an idea of scale here, my scale or size measurement tool streak. But yeah, really quite nice. And he does have a little wheel here. These pieces do articulate out so that your wheels can fit in depending on what size car you have. I feel like it doesn't work all that well, but really, who's really going to be using it to actually drag anything? You can squeeze these in. People have asked why I use these characters to do scale. It's just because these are the only characters that I have. I have an extra one of these from the Hasbro one, and this is the only random one I have. trailer box is the weakest part of Paean. Too boxy? Too big and boxy? Really? You think so? I don't know. I don't know a lot about trailer boxes. But I think I know what you mean, Alan, because I remember in the G1 toy, it was really thin, right? It was really kind of small, not even as big as the cab or something like that. But I don't know about the cartoon. Is that accurate to the cartoon as well? Having one... Oh, okay. Well, then, there you have it. Not that accurate. But I think it's pretty realistic. I mean, I don't think trailer boxes this big are that big of a deal. Since we're in his alt mode, we can go ahead and show off his accessories, his little tentacle thingies. I like these a lot. I think these are cool, although I only remember like one episode of him using this to pick up another Autobot out of like a canyon or something like that, or a crevice. They're really well done in the sense they're all ball joints, but they need to be tightened up just a little bit. Yeah, these totally are not accurate to real life. The scale is all off, and I think the color too. But Greg, why you gotta be so picky, man? We can't have transforming toys that are 100% accurate to both toy and tune. Oh, actually, and real life. So you gotta give some leeway here. I do like that this is spring loaded. This little claw thingy. I think that's pretty cool. Again, these are kind of weird in the sense that I don't know. So what are you guys' thoughts on all the extra accessories that we're getting? I don't mind some. Like I think, like I mentioned in the Megatron review, I like the fact that we're getting some more playability out of them. And Megatron, I think, makes sense with the stock and the suppressor. But some of the other stuff is just so weird. Speaking of, I was skeptical at the arm, but I saw a truck last week with that on it. Not yet. Hey, Chad, how's it going? Yeah, I'm kind of with Chad. Like, it depends, though. So Megatron, I don't mind that much. But, say, with Ironhide and Ratchet, they had so much extra random crap in there that I didn't really understand it. The sled I kind of got because it is like the G1 toy call out with the sled, but the fact it was like totally non-functional. Oh really? You saw this on a truck the other day? Interesting. Yeah, the lower prices definitely would help. Like again with Grapple, I didn't mind as much, I guess, because he had some cool clawy kind of things. But again, I'm not going to use it. How often are you going to really use those pieces? Megatron, I'll use a flight stand. I'll definitely use a flight stand. I'll use his mind control thing for a scene maybe. But I'm not going to use some of this other really random one episode, one scene stuff that doesn't really make or break my display, right? And I think all of us have limited room in our display. I don't know anybody who's ever posted, oh yeah, I have tons of room for all this crap that I can display 28 different accessories on the shelf of my D12. Never heard that problem. But I hear plenty of people saying that I just put stuff like that in the box and it never comes out and is in storage. And that's the case with me. So, like these things, come on. Oh, Ronnie, yeah. Razor Wire, he's a local and he's got a dedicated awesome display room like that looks basically like a toy museum, and he collects everything, so he's probably the only person I know that actually has space enough for all these different accessories. Anything else you guys want to see in terms of comparisons? Or I mean, I could transform this guy, I just don't find that you guys will think that's very interesting. Do you guys have any feedback on whether you would like some of this stuff to be silver or chrome? So like I pointed out, Trailbreakers or Aegis is chromed out up here and silver at the bottom. I think I prefer that a bit better. MSRP is $90 on each of these, which is way cheap for what you get. More DAGcast than some others. Not as much as Bagcube, but it's cheaper than Bagcube, cheaper than Ocular Max. And you get a lot of stuff. Like I said, you get a lot of accessories, like way more than you would probably ever need or want. Like, do you guys know what this is from? Like, this is, I think, Trailbreakers Is this like a force field generator or something like that? I don't even know. This triple barrel gun, which is obviously twice 33% better than this double barrel gun that comes with this guy. But I don't remember this at all, or this at all. Yeah, so people just kind of assume that Fans Toys is going to come out with a hoist. I do too. I mean, why not? But I mean, if you already showed a render, but I think they've also shown that I think the third parties have also shown that you can do, very similar ones from the same mold, like Ocular Max and their Terra Aegis and Artifacts. They're very similar, but these guys are very, very different. And so are Lori and Speed Bump. They're quite different from each other. So I think overall, in that respect, Bad Cube and X-Transbot did a better job of differentiating. Now the final product, whether you like those differences or not, that's up to you. Like some minor things I don't like not having a clean forearm here. This is, I think, where the tires plug in. And I don't love the one in... I can't tell if any of the hoist trailers are one company from the next. Yeah. So this one, this arm works fairly well. I think it's fairly similar to the way that Bad Cube did theirs, but I don't think it looks as nice as these guys. And the fact that you can't have the option to put it on directly on the back, like on here. What I'm looking for in terms of accessories would be different facial expressions. Yeah, I think I like that. Like that was awesome. The recreation of that scene. And if the rumors are true that there is going to be a new MP Prime coming out with battle damage parts for the movie, I think that's cool use of accessories. But some other stuff, I just feel like it's just why bother designing it? Nobody wants it. Nobody wants to pay for it. So I don't know. I think at some point it was a differentiator between different companies to have more or less accessories, but I think by and large people are wanting to save more money nowadays, especially with the volume of toys we're getting. It's a good time to be a collector for sure, because you have a lot of options and a lot of releases with a lot of different characters that we've been waiting for. But in the other respect, it's a lot of money. I'm spending way more money this year or in the last year than I did when I first started collecting, which is not a little, unless you want MP Skylinks. Yeah, do you think anyone's really going to be doing that? I know Fans Toys teased that on April 1st, and they've had stuff like that in the past. I thought I saw... Didn't I see another company like Make Toys or something like that talk about a Skylinks before? Or tease one? I thought they did. But I'm sure it's coming. It's just a matter of when, as opposed to a matter of whether they're going to do it or not. Somebody's doing it. Oh, speaking of which, did you guys see that Unique Toys Lockdown, the movie Lockdown? That looked actually really good. I'm not into Mechaform. Maybe that was it. Thanks, Greg. But the Unique Toys movie Lockdown looks actually really good. I'm not going to collect it because I don't want that in my life, but it looks really well executed, both in alt mode and in robot mode. So I think that maybe that's people are getting tired of G1, or at least companies are tired of competing on the G1. I like that new nickname. Thanks, Greg. All right, come on. You guys got to let me know what to do or what you guys want to talk about, or else this is going to be super boring. I'd also pick the worst time to do this. I don't know if any of you guys are into fighting games, but I forgot that NorCal Regionals, Street Fighter 5 finals are on right now, the top 8, and I'm wishing. Break what? Look at this. It's kind of nice that they have... Like this stuff, I'm never going to use these displays. Yeah, the 10 p.m. time slot works well for me just because of the fact that I have kids. So the mirrors actually are quite nice. I wanted to try to pull one off to see if it worked, but I actually got scared. So I don't think you're going to have any breakages or falling off or anything like that. Not like on Ocular Max's version, which I know there were a lot of a lot of breakages and so forth. So I wouldn't worry about that. What the hell's with the trees? It was from like one episode where they like had a little tea party in the woods. I don't distinctly remember exactly. Yeah, yeah. Usually these are kind of an issue, even with the official ones. But these, I have no concerns over them. They just kind of get in the way and are kind of annoying. Yeah. Oh, so Alan, I know Alan said he prefers the silver here. Anybody else? I mean, I kind of prefer chrome. Looks more realistic to me, but whatever. And then on the wheels, matching chrome or silver to the grill. Anybody have any opinions that you want me to pass along? Chrome all the way. P3SS. What does that even stand for? P3SS3SSOD. Interesting. Chrome chips and silver is easier to touch up. That's true. Okay. All right, so we got 2 for silver. I guess that's true. But I don't know. Chrome just seems a little more premium to me. I mean, I'm not one of those people that need chrome on everything, but when it kind of makes sense. And also, so again, these accessories, this thing is really useless. Oh, gotcha. Possess upside down. So like these things for Trailbreaker, all it is used for is, was it this? Not even this. It was used for something. Where's the other thing that I'm missing? In any case, they're very minor functional. Like, what was that episode that did? So these 2 tabs were used to use Masterpiece Ratchet's one of his guns or soldering iron things, and they tabbed in here. Why is that even a necessary accessory? Why do these guys need to use Ratchet accessories? I just don't get that. Oh yeah, see this thing. This plugs in like this. So this one, I guess, but had to paint up Bacube's Lord's legs. Not a fan of the white legs. Yeah, I don't mind. I don't mind the white legs that much. I do mind this broken ankle. My pin joint's actually damaged. I realized that, but I've been too lazy to ask them for a replacement. I don't mind this. I think it looks more cartoony, in the sense more like, not cartoony, but I mean like a toy figure as opposed to a realistic robot like this. So it depends on what you want. Another company did that too, maybe Bacube. There was a compatibility feature, if I recall. Really? So Bacube did that too, but why? I mean, did that happen frequently, where they use Ratchet's tool a lot? I just don't get it. And that's another thing here, right? We already got one of these. My first Decepticon Transformer. I don't know who it was. I have no idea who my first Decepticon Transformer was. I do remember having, up until recently, that I had a Tripticon, for sure. And I played with that endlessly with my Metroplex. But my Metroplex got broken really quickly as a kid, I remember that. But my Tripticon, I think I gave that to my nephew maybe like 4 years ago. Yeah, I was spoiled. Alright, M-Card, I think you joined the last one too, right? I'm not sure, but thanks for joining. And participating. Yeah, if there's not too much more that you guys are interested in seeing or wanting me to do, we'll probably cut this a little shorter than an hour. I actually have to get up by 4 in the morning to catch a 6 a.m. flight to Reno, Nevada, for work. So ending this sooner, I wouldn't mind. What else did you get in? I don't have anything else new in right now. Well, no, that's a lie. I got a Grump in, which I haven't opened, which I hope is better than their whichever Slick. Thanks, Possessed. I appreciate it. Oh, and from Australia. Nice. The only other thing... Oh, one other thing I did get, which I haven't had a chance to open, is the Perfect Effect Gorilla, which looks like it's going to be a ton of fun. I just have had no chance to open all of that yet. Yeah, so I think those are the only other things, newish things that I've gotten as of late. But I haven't had a chance. Anybody have any quick feedback on Gorilla thus far, if you have one? If you do, was it a wise choice of me to purchase one, or should I not open it and just resell it? No opinions? Nobody else bought it? I can't be the only one that bought that, right? He's a bit shaky? What does shaky mean? Alan says keep. As far as Ratchet... Oh, gotcha. Yeah, so I am getting the MP Beast Wars stuff. I just got Cheetor along with Gorilla not too long ago because I missed out on the first shipment from Toy Dojo, so I just got that recently, so I'm gonna mess with that. You don't buy Beasties. Why? Beast Wars is great. I don't know why some people just hate on it so much. Maybe Dinobot? Yeah, Dinobot. Yeah, I'm excited about that. But then again, I really would rather have Megatron. Also, I have some paint overspray. Ugh. I hate that. I'm not really looking forward to that then. He's not as good as Warden. Yeah, Warden was an awesome first release. I think that was one of the most impressive third-party figures I've had in forever. And then they came out with Leonidas, who was honestly awful. I thought he was terrible. I had him for about 2 days or something like that before I gave it away. Or no, actually I sold it. I was thinking about giving it away. It wasn't a first release, but in that scale, yeah. So for me, I thought Leonidas was really, really crap. They are re-releasing it in the toy colors though, with the toy deco. The Toon deco, that actually looks pretty cool. But they're not going to trick me into buying that again. That figure was crap. I mean, if the quality felt okay, like the plastic quality, but the design was so lazy. There were definitely better things to spend your money on. Yeah, so I'm just going to finish off with transforming this guy since nobody's really asking any particular questions about this. So I'm just going to go ahead and transform this. Hey, you Mongrel, how's it going? Is this final? Are they... No, so these are not final. These are pre-production samples. So yeah, the paint apps, I'm guessing more will be on the way, but I can't say for sure. Let's see, I'm gonna collapse all this up and down like this. But then again, I was never also a Beast Wars season 2 or whatever. What was it called? Whatever that was called. I wasn't really a big fan of the Japanese anime one, so probably not their target market. Why can't I get this through this time? Oh, there we go. I definitely want a Beast Wars Megatron, though. I definitely need a dinosaur in my life, a T-Rex in my life. A purple dinosaur, not Barney. What am I doing here? Alright. What am I doing? There we go, like this. Oh, did you guys see that 3D printed part for MP Cheetor? The new legs? Those look awesome. I really want some of those. I think that those would be really cool. Later, Greg. I think those would be really cool to have because they make the legs both in robot mode and in beast mode look way better than the official ones. So I would really buy a set like that. And I don't know who it's from. It's probably from like what's his name? Black Apple or something like that. But that looks really good. That looks like it'll be great. So how bad is KFC Did Cut? I liked Did Cut. I thought it was actually pretty good. I liked it better than what's its name? The other one, the not DX9 Unique Toys. Was it DX9? I liked it better than their version for sure. I didn't really like that one because I thought it was too bulky, but there were definitely issues with it, and so I posted on my Facebook, ATP Designs is doing better ratchets for the knees, which was one of the issues with the pre-production sample that I had. So that seems to be the main problem with it. Otherwise, I think it's not that bad. What do you think about X-Transbot Andros? Oh, that's one of the figures that I highly recommended. It was one of the figures that I think started their reascension to the one of the top third-party Transformer makers. I really liked Andros. Oh yeah, the feet were a big pain in the butt to transform, but in terms of quality and stuff, the only things I remember are like the little antenna thing on his head. In alt mode, there were 3 of them. Those things fell off all the time. Is where you install the battery, so that was kind of bad. And the feet were kind of a pain to transform. But I think he looks good, good quality, and the transformation wasn't actually terrible aside from the feet. You just had to get them positioned in a particular way to get them to transform and clear through the big shin guards that he had. But otherwise, I would recommend him for sure. I thought he was a really good figure, and again, it was a jump up in quality for a company that was struggling with quality for quite a bit. But X-Transbots and KFC, I think they've stepped it up a lot. I recommended their, where is he? I actually have him. I recommended these guys on my last live review as well. Live stream as well. I think these guys are super fun. Later Possessed. Yeah, those guys are super. The Junkions are super fun. I really wish they would come up with more of those, but I don't know if they weren't popular enough or what. But sadly, we have not seen any more of them. All right, so from here we go ahead and push this around. Covers up the kneecaps like that. Oh, fold this in, and this is gonna basically come up like this. We're going to do that to the other side as well. Fold this up. I love the Junkions, but I have paint chipping on both the thighs. I don't have paint chipping on the thighs on mine, but I've only transformed them maybe a handful of times before the review, getting ready for the review and afterwards, and after some part swapping. I think I remember my dump yard did have paint chipping on this piece, this tab piece right here, because he had paint on this and Rekard didn't. So this part tabs into the knee or something like that somewhere. And I remember that having paint wear or chipping on my dump yard, which I still have. But other than that, and people complained about the transformation a lot, especially the handlebar stuff. But if they were transforming the handlebar correctly, it shouldn't have been an issue. No ab crunch or butterfly joints on either of these guys, unfortunately. Sorry about that. Yeah, there's no such joints for these guys. Did I forget something? I feel like I forgot something. Yeah, I didn't think they were bad either. People were just having trouble with the handlebars. Did I forget something? Oh no. Okay, I'm good. Yeah, I had no problem with it. I forget which figure Fans Toys will make us to get a better Grimlock kit. I have no idea. I was planning to buy an Andros, but I'm told Fans Toys is going to make it. Yeah, they've shown silhouettes of a lot of characters. Fans Toys has shown silhouettes of a Scourge as well as the other guy's name? Why am I blanking? Gosh, I have a terrible memory at night. Scourge and Cyclonus. Yeah, Cyclonus. But they've shown a lot of figures, and even the stuff they showed renders for is going out until like 2018. So I wouldn't expect a very quick release on a Scourge or their Cyclonus. But then again, they have had some surprise reveals, like their headmaster that I didn't think was very good. The their Weird Wolf, that came out of kind of nowhere. We didn't even know they were going to be doing headmasters. See, this one peg is kind of a pain. I don't know why they felt the need to include this peg, but it's the biggest pain to get in. And these two are so solid that you don't really need it. No, see, yeah, Umongrel, I agree. Like, I thought the Galvatron was overrated. So Alan and Chadicus, who are on the stream, or at least were a little while ago, I brought that to a local meetup, and they were like, "Oh, it's awesome," and like it's really good. And I was like, "Really? I think it's kind of mediocre. I actually like Tyrant overall better." And there were parts of Sovereign that were easy to break or very, very challenging to transform. So I don't think so. Let me get it out there, because you guys saying blasphemy. I don't think he's a bad figure. I just don't think he's a great figure. Skyfire, their Skyfire is a great figure. I really like that figure a lot. Phoenix is gonna be awesome. Can't wait to have him. But like their Grimlock as well. Their Grimlock, their Grinder was so meh. Like, I mean, yeah, it's what you expect from Fans Toys. Really solid, pretty simple transformation, but nothing that wowed me, right? I don't have him, and I don't really intend to buy him, especially because they changed the look of the Dinobot mode so much that it doesn't even look like Grimlock to me. So for me, that both those figures, when I brought them to the Willerfunk, the last figure to wow me, well, Phoenix was really impressive just because it's finally great to have one. But last figure to wow me, I'm trying to look at all my... Oh, Megatron. Yeah, Megatron definitely wowed me. Like, MP36 definitely wowed me. It was a figure that I thought was really impressive, really well engineered, and pretty fun overall, even though the transformation was challenging. But I thought they did a really good job there. The other figure, probably Solo Chigokin Voltron, was really impressive to me. I really like that a lot. I know that's not a Transformer figure, but I'm trying to look around my room. Carnifex, I really love Carnifex. I thought he was really, really splendid. Probably the pinnacle of the MMC reformatted series so far. I really love him and all the playability and that upgrade kit they included, even though I don't really care about, Breastmasters or Godmasters, whatever you want to call them, that much. It was cool that they designed that in and then gave fans an option to purchase that. So I like that figure. I don't know if there's any other figures off the top of my head that I was really impressed with. There were some that I was definitely let down by, like Toy World Primorian. You can't say Oculamax's next release. Do you have any idea their next reveal? They usually do reveals at the cons, so I wouldn't be surprised if you see them at the next major con. I'm not really sure which one's coming up next, but they have a lot. They've shown a lot. So they've shown... Oh, Ocular Max. Well, I know they're working on their Laserbeak, which will be the accompaniment to their new cassette line, the MP cassette line with their Jaguar. But other than that, I'm not really sure about their upcoming releases. MMC, they're doing a bunch of stuff. I want to see more of their Springer and Rumored Jazz. Yeah, that'll be interesting. I don't know about Jazz, though. I thought they may have dropped that because of Downbeat. So that was another figure that I had very differing opinions on from the vast majority of people. The vast majority of people really, really loved Downbeat, Make Toys Downbeat, and I thought it was a good figure. I thought it looked really spot on for robot mode, but something, at least kind of the look and feel looks kind of like an official MP, but something was lacking for me with Downbeat, and especially the alt mode. I didn't really love it. I just really hope Takara rips off that collapsing chest gimmick. What was... Oh, yeah. The collapsing chest gimmick was solid. Super solid. Yeah, the car hood was a really, really well designed. I was really looking forward to the other releases that were coming out for a Jazz, like... Hova looked really impressive, but now looking at it side by side next to, well, I think it was Hova, right? The Transformer rollout. Looking at the renders or the prototype next to Downbeat, definitely Downbeat looks better overall. So we'll see. Oh, the next MMC figure that I think is probably going to be coming out is their Cyclonus, and then their what's it called? Their helicopter dudes, their Whirl, and the Beast Machines person, who I don't remember off the top of my head. Yeah, you're probably right. I mean, they did license some other Porsche stuff recently, and they had Volkswagen with B not too long ago as well. So I wouldn't be surprised if we get Jazz relatively soon. But they've been kind of quiet on that front with reveals on the official G1 line, Masterpiece G1 line. Since I'm just chatting it up, how about we just show off some of the other sides, at least of these guys? This is supposed to be about these. Other than Carnifex, I'm pretty much out of the reformatting line. You're not gonna get any of the other DJD guys like Helix and what's his name? Helix and he has another weird name. The two big guys, they're coming out. What? No, how are you not gonna finish up the DJD? Although I do think that they got a lot of hype for characters that didn't play a lot in the comics. I got into the comics really late, so I thought they made a much bigger role, played a much bigger role in the series, but they didn't really. I mean, so yeah, man, this house can only house. I have very limited room. I've started actually selling off some stuff so I can make more room for my core line. I'm selling all my legends and stuff like that. So the things I'm trying to get into are just focusing back on Masterpiece line. Anyway, is there anything else you guys want to ask with these two, or do you want me to pass it along to X-Transbots or 539 Designs before we sign off for tonight? Any recommendations? Again, you like the silver? You like the chrome? Do you prefer that? Do you guys want... I think the biggest complaint that I've heard resoundedly is the fact that people want a gray tune face for Hoist. How do you feel about X-Transbots Hoist next to... So yeah, somebody mentioned that. Yeah, you're definitely going to get the stripes here. There's no way they're not going to do that, you mongrel. But somebody else said the same thing on my YouTube comment. I think that would actually be a really good pairing, because I like the look of this Trailbreaker a lot. I think it looks very accurate, a little bit more accurate, and I like that you have display options with the chest being a little bit more narrow. And I like the height, right? I like this overall, that this is a really good looking figure in both modes. Like his alt mode looks great, his robot mode looks great, but for me it's a little too tall. So that's probably why I'll probably keep this guy as my Trailbreaker, and maybe get this guy, or who knows, maybe Fans Toys down the line as my Hoist. But this Hoist is also really good, and he scales about the same height as Terra Aegis does. So I think that'd be a good mix. And this is a really interesting. Yeah, I don't remember him being that tall though. He's like basically MP10 height. I don't know if you were here when we showed that comparison. Where is he? I don't know if you're here. Oh, dang it. It's this guy. But he comes above MP10's shoulder. And I don't think Trailbreaker was supposed to be that tall. So I don't think there's any real notable improvements in the overall build quality of X-Transbot stuff, but I thought they've been doing really well overall. So their diecast is nice. This all feels solid here. Probably I would say at least on par, maybe a little bit better than Ocular Max's versions of these in terms of plastic quality. I can't say for sure because they're different, but I have no concerns about the plastic quality. You're not going to have any issues with these guys at all in terms of plastic. It's really, really pretty dense and thick walled, so I wouldn't worry. The only places that you might be concerned about, and I'm concerned about, are this back trailer, just because it's really pegged in really difficultly, and then there's a small peg here which makes it really hard to open. other than that, I wouldn't be concerned at all. But you're always going to have that issue with translucent plastic. I mean, these guys have hollow chests as well. I mean, I think that might just be a reality of trying to accomplish all that from this. But I don't have any concerns about the plastic, but he doesn't. I feel like they don't feel hollow. I didn't really think that Ocular Maxes felt that hollow either, though. I think people had complaints about the hollowness from, if you look at Terror Aegis from underneath, people were saying if you look at him from underneath, you can see that he has a very small waist. But, I mean, that's pretty hard to see, I thought. So I'm just transforming this guy just for, basically for you, Mongrel, and showing him how tall he is, because he's really tall, and I think unnecessarily tall. Hoist, I'm happy with his height, but with this guy, I just think he's too tall. Any other figures that I'm really anticipating? I'm trying to think. You believe me? My full review that went up earlier today has a comparison as well, but I'm going to try to do a more speedy transformation just because Alan was giving me a hard time about failing at a speed transformation earlier. I think it's easier going this way than it is the other way, so hopefully I can do this fairly quickly. But in terms of the die-cast, he has a lot of heavy die-cast, really thick die-cast here and in the bottom part of the toe, and then this guy also has a bunch of die-cast in the lower foot. I measured the weight earlier. He's heavier because of his die-cast knees. I think around almost 12 ounces. And I think he was around 10 ounces if I'm not mistaken. But you'll have to check back in the video. So I think he's probably heavier than the Ocular Max Fit guys just because they don't have any die-cast, I don't think. Or they have very minimal die-cast. I remember they have die-cast on like the rails and stuff like that. I still like the Ocular Max ones quite a bit. And it's also something that, you know, when you get a new figure, it's very easy to become enamored with a new figure over the figures you already have. But I try to do some fair comparisons between all the figures I have, and I spend a lot of time preparing for reviews, looking at old figures and stuff like that. So I spend a lot of time looking at Ocular Maxes again, doing some transformations and so forth. And I think in general, the Trailbreaker is the better figure overall, but I think this hoist is the best hoist that we've gotten so far from third party. The Trailbreaker is definitely nice. The height just kind of gets me. Am I talking to myself? How many people do we even have on anymore? Okay, 13, not bad. A tenth of what we had for Megatron, but that's kind of expected. These guys have been reviewed quite a bit. I think people have a pretty good idea of what they're getting into with these figures, but I was very happy to get Megatron early. I will say there is some paint chipping on these clear parts, but it's hard to judge just because, again, it's a pre-production piece. That's basically it. I'm not even gonna bother clipping in the backpack. So, you Mongol, that was for you, bro. And here he is with MP10. Yeah, see, look how tall he is. He's definitely above the shoulder. That's just too tall for me. I don't hate Trailbreaker, but I don't feel like he should be that tall, right? It's not that bad. Again, and it's Trailbreaker, so he's not gonna be sitting on the same shelf as OP anyway. He's like a second tier character for me, so he's not gonna be on the same shelf. So it's not that bad. Smidge bigger than Ironhide? Okay, I'll show you Ironhide. Which is also a figure I think is too tall. I think I mentioned that before as well. I still prefer the Voodoo Toys Salus. Let me make sure I read that right. He was their huge black friend. Alright. But yes, I think Ironhide was too tall too. I think he was supposed to be around like middle of the chest. Again, scale chart. But this guy definitely looks better than official Ironhide though. I still have so much bitterness about this figure. I thought they were going to come out with that improved KO with the skirts hidden and this part all filled in and stuff like that. Oh, I wonder where that is. I'll definitely buy that. Alright, so we've hit the 1 hour mark and then some. Hopefully you guys enjoyed it. I enjoyed it. I actually like doing these live streams. It's a lot more interesting than my regular reviews since I'm pretty boring when I do those since I'm talking to myself. But these have been really interesting. We get some nice characters in here like Greg. If you guys know Greg from Facebook, Cybertron Cafe and everything like that. I think people did say they're coming out in May. They're pretty much done. I feel like they're pretty close to done. Just as long as they get some final touches in terms of paint on him and maybe some tolerance stuff. They feel pretty ready. They don't feel cheap or insufficient. Same thing with Phoenix when I had him the other month. I was ready to just keep him, not send him back to Toy Dojo at all. But yeah, that's it for this live stream, everyone. Thanks for joining. Next time I have a new figure or pre-production sample, we'll do another one, and I might start trying to do these like every couple of months or something like every couple of weeks, or at least once a month. My efforts to scrub through the season 1 episodes looking for a good prime match were fruitless. All right, Willa Frank, You Mongrel, Alan, Chad. Who else did we have? We had T-Man earlier, and some other folks. Greg, obviously. Possessed from Australia. Appreciate it. So hopefully you guys like these. I'll keep doing more of them. I'll try to give more notice in the future. I would have given more notice for this, but I had to do this because I had to fly out in a few hours for a week. So if I didn't do it with tonight, I wouldn't be able to do it at all. So anyway, the review, this video will be posted up in a few hours on YouTube as well. All right. Thanks a lot, everyone. Have a good one.